Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for being here. It's great to see so many familiar folks in the chat and the reunions that are taking place. And I am just stalling as the music dies down. But hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I am Ben Stone, Director of Design and Creative Placemaking at the National Endowment for the Arts, and I am going to be your host today. Thanks so much for joining us. I am a 40-ish-year-old white man with a short beard wearing a blue shirt and a lighter blue jacket with a blue sparkly background that shows the NEA and LISC logos. While I would usually be joining you from my home in Baltimore or perhaps the NEA offices in DC, today I'm joining you from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the historic and current lands of the Dakota and Ojibwe. Today's event is jointly hosted by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Local Initiative Support Corporation as part of the Artown Creative Placemaking Technical Assistance Program. To learn more about the NEA Artown program, you can visit us at arts.gov, and you can sign up for a newsletter by sending us an email to neadesign@arts.gov. The next deadline, as hopefully many of you know, to apply for the Artown grant is August 1st. Before we begin, I'll share a few community space notes. Closed captioning and ASL interpretation are available. If you would like to view closed captions, please click on the CC button at the bottom of your webinar screen. Please note we're recording this session to be made available to the public in the coming days. And we encourage you to contribute to the session by using the chat throughout the session today. And now on to our actual programming for today. I'm sure that, like me, all of you are excited to hear from the more than dozen amazingly talented people who will be sharing their visions and ideas for the future. And now to lead us in that sharing, I'm happy to introduce our facilitators, three of our Creative Placemaking Technical Assistance Program resource team members, Scott Oshima, Marty Pottenger, and Mark Valdez. Please take it away.
Hello, folks. Thanks so much, Ben. Really appreciate that. And thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Mark Valdez. I am a 50-ish man with gray hair, glasses, and a striped shirt. And I am calling you from the state of Minnesota, here in Hibbing, Minnesota. And do you want to introduce yourselves, Scott and Marty?
Sure. Scott, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Scott Oshima. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. I am currently, well, actually, I am based in Seattle on Coast Salish lands, although I'm currently trapped in Chicago in a basement with COVID. Hello. I am Chinese, Japanese, American. I have long black hair currently, for now, in a bun, a mustache. I'm wearing a mint green button up with periwinkle snakes and flowers. And I'm definitely wearing pants right now. Thank you.
That's good to know, Scott. I'm Marty Pottenger. Hi, everybody. I'm in South Portland, Maine. I'm a remarkably good-looking lesbian, 72, wearing a thin whale, kind of caramel corduroy shirt, which I'm very pleased with. And I'm pleased to be here with all of you.
Thanks so much, y'all. So our meeting today, our intentions are really to celebrate where the field is and what is possible for the future. The agenda is really simple. We're going to do some grounding, look at some examples of art, culture, and community development, and then spend some time doing some work around our imagination and then getting some updates from the NEA. So it's pretty straightforward. Should be move fast. So thank you all for joining us. And with that, I'll pass it over to Scott.
Hi, everyone. So to kind of start us off, I know we're all kind of tuning in from, the digital ether from across the country in these Brady Bunch boxes. But I thought, we could take a moment to kind of welcome each other, to feel a little bit connected and grounded across these distances by sharing a Japanese folk character creature named the Namazu. Namazu, in folklore, earthquakes are created by a catfish, a giant catfish that lives underground. And while I think probably many of us have experienced that earthquakes can be really devastating, especially in the 19th century in Japan, the Namazu catfish was sort of reclaimed as a symbol of social justice, of leveling of class inequities, and a restarting and a sort of new version of the future, and through this kind of unstoppable, strange creature. And so I thought maybe together we can do something a little dangerous and try to wake up the Namazu. Not really, but so I wanted to first, this is the dangerous part, invite everybody to unmute, not just the panelists, everybody to unmute with the hopes that we can hear each other for a moment. Get ready for some digital chaos. I'll give you all a second to do that. It's scary. Oh, I'm already unmuted, so whatever. Okay, so now, if you could plant your feet on the ground, put your hands on your table, however you want to touch or connect with the ground, with the earth, and just start there. And start by just slowly tapping your feet or your hands or your body, however you want, and see if we can start to just hear a little bit of the rumbling across the country. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Hear it. Okay. Now to get a little bit louder, I think maybe think about like patting or to now drumming a little bit. Maybe you're waking up your cat. Maybe you're annoying your neighbors now, but that's fine because it's Pride Month and we should all commit acts of pure chaos. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Then I would just take it as loud as you can get. Let's get to really stomping, really loud. We want to wake up that sleeping catfish. Yeah, clap. Yeah. Yeah, can you feel it? Can you feel? Hopefully we're shaking the earth, not destroying anything. Take a moment to just hear each other, feel each other in the earth.
Come here.
Okay.
Come here.
And then now, slow it back down. Maybe get it. Oh, I hear a dog. Yes. Okay, we're gonna slow it back down, kind of get it slower than your heartbeat, and then we'll let that catfish go back to sleep. Okay, so now, thank you. Everyone can mute again. Our tech team will also help us mute if you're having trouble.
Mute.
But I'm glad we got one angry dog. But yes, just wanted to take a moment, a reminder that this work is a little bit about adding some chaos and also creativity into our lives, into the work that we do, and really celebrating the hooligans like this catfish, the artists, the culture bearers that we work with who are maybe shaking things up a little bit, but also in kind of causing some chaos, helping us to imagine a new way of being in our communities. And then also that we're not alone in this work and that together, collectively, we can really shake things up. So thank you for joining in a little earthquake. I'm gonna kick it over to Marty.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for that. I've got about 5 minutes to share some of what I've learned about this work. And so one of the gifts of our work comes from bringing people together who have quite divergent life experiences, backgrounds, perspectives, opinions, and beliefs. It's a space that is becoming more rare. But for many, being a part of an Art Town project becomes a significant life memory, a reference point for understanding who we are, who humans are, and what is possible to do together. That's one of the reasons why I think the work we do may be able to play a critical role in the years ahead. So what's the reason to integrate creative activity with participants, stakeholders, and community? That's my jam, is designing projects where people make art. Everybody does. For individuals to create and make art themselves, whether it's comics, poetry, stories, photographs, music, collages, making art is thrilling and scary. Making art engages us in ways that simply watching and listening does not. There is what feels like a risk factor along with the joy and the challenge. That risk factor can create a shared landscape among participants, a landscape that can connect individuals whose life experiences and perspectives have little in common. Over the years, I've gotten to watch at least 10,000 individuals engage in some form of creativity. I've come up with a list of impacts that I've noticed creative engagement making art seems to generate. Each of them seem especially needed in these times. So the first is creative. You got it right in front of you, I guess. Creativity taps into a flexible intelligence that's rarely accessed, but always there. It deepens our sense of connection to ourselves, which I think is primary, and then to others. It reminds us of our ability to hold contradictions, really key, including our own, especially. And it pokes our curiosity, the kind of curiosity is so evident in young people. It awakens a sense of hope and possibility. And being brought up Protestant, there's a kind of version of, I don't know, artificial hope or something. And so I call it rational hope instead. And creativity, I think for me, maybe the most important is it inspires the courage to take risks. Courage being something we need now more than ever. I have two examples from projects that Art at Work, the nonprofit that I direct, came. One is a project called Abundance Project, America and Money. It was 4 years, and I went around to 7 cities around the US and interviewed 35 minimum wage workers and 35 multimillionaires in 7 cities and asked them all the same questions. I interviewed them separately. But the project also convened community gatherings, which with people from all along the economic spectrum, answering several of the same questions. But instead of designing the project where participants discussed economic equity and inequity, over the 4 years of abundance, more than 5,000 people were asked this question: what is your earliest memory connected to money in any way at all? First thought. Then each of the 5,000 plus people wrote what I call the refrigerator poem. It's 10 to 20 words max. And they wrote it in their heads about that memory. They practiced saying it out loud, and then they shared that poem with the group. The excitement laced with fear and insights was palpable in every gathering, and the transformations evident in every closing go-round. The second project I wanted to reference to say what happens when people actually make art as part of the design of achieving these systemic change outcomes. Art at Work was in residence as part of Portland, Maine city manager's staff for 8 years here in Portland, Maine. About 2 years in, the city's legal department was dealing with a significant number of racial discrimination lawsuits, all calling public works workers to account. Having already proven the power of the kind of work we were doing, the city agreed that Art at Work, instead of convening DEI classes with their human relations staff, they had us convene story circles and design a program where the over 30 public works workers all across the spectrum, from management to workers, and shared stories about their families' ethnic heritages. They then carved prints on linoleum blocks of those heritages and their work lives. At the start, all 30 participants identified as white by the projects, and they identified as Italian, Franco, Greek, Russian, Native, and so on. And sharing their linoleum, they kind of ended up with stamps, like when you're a kid and you carve potatoes and make wallpaper out of them. They shared their stamps with each other, and the prints were hung throughout their work sites, both as a way to make what they had come to realize and be proud of was make it more visible, but also to remind everyone of the clarities gained. And those clarities were also evident in a significant drop in racially based discrimination lawsuits. Sorry, there's construction going on my that's about it. So from construction workers, tunnel workers, to bank presidents, and from those without housing to elected officials, I've gotten to see the connection, the hope, the flexible thinking, the curiosity, and the courage that making art brings to the fore. I've seen that become not only a lifelong cherished memory, but a reference point in small and large ways to how we lead our lives. That's it. That's my 5.
Thanks, Marty.
Yeah.
That's so good. Thanks for sharing those things. And really appreciate always those reminders of these fantastic projects and these lessons learned. So thank you. I think it's my turn. So Jess and the creative team, just to let Scott and Marty off the hook a little bit, if you want to remove their spotlights, then they don't have to worry about being
My
on
hair.
screen here while they're doing that. So thank you. And for my time here, I want to share a project that I co-created with my collaborator, Ashley Sparks, called The Most Beautiful Home Maybe, which is an arts integrated cross-sector collaboration that we did across the country. I think oftentimes conversations about art and civic scale problem solving result in the art being used as an engagement tool, a way to gather people and information, which, as you know from your own projects, I'm sure, art and creativity can do that really, really well. But I'm curious, what if the art itself was the vehicle for civic problem solving? What if we use the work that we create to take on some of the most seemingly intractable issues facing our communities, like affordable housing, say? Can we use art to not just raise awareness around an issue, but to offer paths and solutions and opportunities for action? To use the art as an invitation to imagine and make beautiful futures? For us, the answer was yes. And so we began an experiment to use theater to influence housing policies. Here's some pictures that came from that project, some of the individuals. We developed and performed our work in 4 communities: the Twin Cities in Minnesota, Syracuse in New York, Los Angeles in California, and in Mesa, Arizona. We created partnerships with local advocates, activists, and government workers, nonprofit and for-profit developers, and of course, with people who were most impacted by the housing crisis. We can go to the next slide, please, there. And one of the things that we learned is that people care very much about the housing crisis, but they don't feel that they know enough about housing policies to be active in those conversations. So because much of the work is highly technical, one of the things that we had to take on was to find ways to communicate highly technical information in easy and memorable ways. So one of the things that we did in looking at types of housing is that we created a song, "What Are the Houses in Your Neighborhood?" which was a parody of the Sesame Street song, "Who Are the People in Your Neighborhood?" And so participation was key. Over the course of the performance, audiences were invited to do the Light Tech Shuffle, a line dance about housing financing, as well as play board games and share stories. We were looking for ways to find easy and low stakes ways for audiences to do something that was a very big part of how we structured the piece. So our whole theory of change was, if you can do something, you can do something else. So we found these simple ways for people to participate. As an example, for instance, is audiences played Sprinkles, a board game where strangers had to talk to one another about their beliefs and values around affordable housing. Again, in this theory, if you can talk to a stranger about your beliefs on housing, you can talk to your neighbor or you can talk to a family member about those. These are the 4 categories: beliefs, policy, pop culture, and values. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the whole piece was hosted by a dazzle of zebras. And so this group of zebras sang torch songs and show tunes. They guided us to the past to show us some of the ways, some of the reasons for why we got into this mess. They brought us into the present so that we could hear from those most impacted by our current policies. And then they invited us to co-daydream a beautiful future that included universal housing. So I want to share with you a quick little excerpt just to give you a taste of what it was like. So if you could run that, Jess, is that right?
It was beautiful. It was so impactful. It was joyous, vulnerable, and so deeply moving.
Tap your troubles away. You bounced a big check. Your mom had the vapors. Oh!
There was vulnerability, rawness, reality, mixed in with so much fact and technical pieces that almost feel abstract a lot of the times in our lives when we talk about housing insecurity. And it made it feel like we were all connected to something bigger than ourselves.
Oh, what are the houses in our neighborhood?
Is that why we did?
In our neighborhood? Yeah, that's our neighborhood.
I know.
Cedric. A quote from writer Lynette D'Amico. History is zoop, 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 infrastructure.
I think it's a great.
Thanks. So just a little taste of what we were doing, of how it was structured, but really looking for those ways to weave art and the cross-sector issues together. So I'll pause right there, and with that, I'll hand it over back to Marty.
Woohoo! Thank you, Mark. Thank you, thank you. How's everybody doing? We need to do like a little blah, 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 like made out of rubber or something healthy. How about made out of a plant? So now we get to put our imaginations in gear. It's an imaginary slide that Mark and I came up with at Art Place America's closing summit a couple years ago. What you will see in a minute may look like a gray slide or a gray rectangle, but it's actually an imaginary slide waiting for you to imagine all sorts of images inside. It is possible that our imaginations are one of the most powerful tools we have to create a world we'd love to share with each other and all sorts of other precious creatures. So Jess, first slide, please. Let's start with a practice slide. And panic if you must, but please remember the slide you will see are supposed to be gray until your imagination gets to work. So let's start. Imagine somebody you've worked with on a creative placemaking project, our town or another one. Think of somebody that you will never forget, never, ever forget. Get them up there, put them up there, find the corner, the spot, the middle. Imagine what they're wearing, but even more, make sure you are remembering your relationship with them. Now put a smile on their face, whether you've ever seen one there or not, or a version of a smile if need be. Now let's all together stand back and admire. And remember, just look at them all. Wow. And whether you love them or hope to never see them again, they are all a part of our weave, the weave of all of us. Hundreds here today, plus the tens of thousands that have participated in creative placemaking, creative placekeeping projects to date. The NEA alone has funded and helped make possible 802 projects since its beginning, and they're just getting started. So Jess, how about the next slide, please?
Oh, hey, hold on, Marty. I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we just go back to the previous slide? There was a picture that I couldn't quite. I was taking in all of the pictures that people put up there, and so I just needed a second because I couldn't tell. Looked like there was a little dog over there. But anyway, I see it now. Sorry.
No, it's fine, Mark. We can go back and forth the whole time. Thank you so much. I love the doggy. Jess, when we hop forward to the next slide, please. Thank you. So many of you have been doing this work for a long time, and some of you may be ankle deep in your first project, but wherever you are, think of a moment when you were close to giving up, ringing the bell, calling it quits, or maybe you gave up. The work we do is frontline. We are knitting communities together with yarns of colors the world rarely sees. Beautiful colors, scary, glorious, challenging, risky colors. And that is exactly the yarn we want to be using. So think of that moment of giving up and imagine an object that can hold and reflect that moment for you. Take your time, although the image often comes right away if you're able to pay attention to those first thoughts. Now find a place for that image in the slide and place it there. And then add the image, describe the image in the chat as well if you can. A rusty red metal lunchbox, yes. A Georgia lake full of gators, A baby moose at the top of Mount Katahdin. A Excellent. Or an abandoned horseshoe in East Texas. And once you've placed that object in the imaginary slide, would you write it into the chat, as I mentioned? Thanks. Now, before we move on, Mark and Scott, do you want to just say a couple things that are in the chat? I can't multitask to that level.
Sure. A large boulder falling from the sky out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. Scream hyena. Collard greens, yes.
Ooh, a key
A
thrown in
cheesy
the river.
arepa.
What, Scott?
Got a key thrown in the river, an unexpected gift basket.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful basket.
Awesome. So let's all step back. Imagine stepping back and noticing all the objects that surround yours in the pile. All the courage, the muscle, the ingenuity, the surprises and faith this journey asks of us or gifts to us. Jess, can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. Now, this is where the music comes in. Imagine the music that goes with the work you've been doing. Somebody's imagining a loud piece. Excellent. The impacts, possibilities created, relationships made, and systemic changes whose silver trails lead right back to you and your colleagues' doors. In this slide, the sun or moon is rising or setting. Maybe it's right above our heads. Now put yourself in the slide. Yes, you, all of us here today, in a favorite outfit if you want. You're standing tall, you're sitting pretty, or you're leaning against a tree, surrounded by your colleagues, your crew, your people, including all of us together today. Imagine that. Now that snapshot's a keeper. Before we finish with the slideshow, I invite each of you to make a promise to yourself that you will remember that you matter, that you belong, that you have a home here among these people. You are part of a growing way to tackle really tough stuff, to deepen connections, to tickle curiosity, to challenge oppression, and stir the stew of equity with a spoon named joy. Thanks, NEA. Thanks, resource team, and especially thanks to all of you. I look forward to what y'all get up to. Now, add a zebra, and Mark, it's your turn.
Thanks so much, Marty. So we're in this land of imagination, and we want to stay there just a little bit longer to start to vision the future, to think about the impact that our work has had, will have on the world around us. So now that we're in this imagination space, take a second and imagine that it's 2030. What might your work look like? How has your practice grown? What impact has our work had on our communities? Create that image, that imaginary slide. Just see it in your brain. What are the images? What does it feel like? Now I want to invite you to write that down, however you want, in the chat so that you can share that vision, that image with others. I'll give you a minute to type. Now, when you type it into the chat, it's going to appear on the screen for everyone to see. So whatever goes into the chat will be shared with all of us. And this is great because we're coming up with a collective daydream, our co-vision for what we think the future is going to look like. Future of our field, the future of our communities. So when you're ready, just start to put those descriptions into the chat. Take a look at what folks are sharing. It's a collective daydream. There's no right or wrong. It's just your ideas. There we go. Thank you so much. Just keep adding them. Great. A deep breath. I'm sharing my homestead with others who appreciate a meditative space with sound and visual art. Yes, strength and connections, play. A bunch of babies, sunny, and the grapefruit trees, the 150-year-old grapefruit tree in Little Tokyo. Oh, it's beautiful. A heart, yes, emojis are a great way to communicate. Feel free to add those in.
An ocean filled with sea creatures, a forest filled with furry creatures, a sky filled with birds, and a planet where humans know we belong with all the rest.
Creative spaces where anyone can play, learn, relax, and experience joy in Philadelphia.
Land justice and environmental justice for all. Play,
Yes.
play. Did you see a bunch of sunny babies, sunny fruit trees, grapefruit trees?
Yeah, we saw that one.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Collective grieving and healing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need
With Art
that.
Park.
Emojis. Yes. Thumbs up.
Ben, you're eloquent.
A place for humanity is more important than capitalism. Yes.
Yes.
Children and adults playing together and laughing.
Ooh, yeah, like,
Nonprofit that I work for has bricks and mortars. Yeah.
ooh, carefree naps in the sun. Yes, please.
No war.
Yeah.
Art hives. Yes. Joy, a true sense of community collaboration. Rich soil, growing healthy food. These are fantastic, y'all. Just keep adding them in. We're doing these things. If you don't see them coming down in these little Tetris things, you can see them in the chat there, that list that's going down. So you can just keep populating them. We'll save the chat, so all of this will be archived so that we can have our collective daydream for what we think the future is going to be. As you keep putting those thoughts down, thank you for sharing those. I want to ask a couple of people to share their ideas with the group. So first, my dear friend Simone Board, would you mind sharing your vision?
Hi, yes, I love this question so much. And what I'm dreaming of is, like I said, the chat is just mature fruit trees, music, line dancing, people just together from all ages, spaces, abilities, lots of laughing, lots of good food, and just ease and peace and a feeling of belonging and shared connection. And this beautiful safety net of love and care that we've knit together.
Oh, that's lovely, Simone. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that vision. And I can't wait to get there. Next up, if we could, I'd like to invite Dr. Yvonne M. De La Rosa. Dr. De La Rosa, would you mind sharing your vision?
Sure. So my vision, I was just thinking about my city. So what I was thinking of is more inclusive with more cross engagement amongst a community that in 2024 is very divided in the history of our city, race and politics. We will have helped to grow the next generation of cultural bearers, and where our community is embracing of all. That's what I have.
Goodness, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'm just reading these comments, and it's just it's absolutely beautiful. Everyone is respected and appreciated. There's dancing, there's beaches and palm trees, lots of love, good food, solar punk future. Yes, these are just great. Like again, like they're in the chat, so just look at those to inspire just this imagination. We have to see it so that we can do it. So thank you for that. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing that. It truly is inspiring. And so with that, I'll pass it over to Scott. Thanks, y'all.
Good afternoon, television audience. My name is Connie Chung, here from Channel 5 LISC and Channel 8 NEA News, reporting from the basement in Chicago, Illinois, because again, I have COVID. I'm here with today's afternoon weather forecast. We know that creative placemaking has been a named field for about 10 years, a little more than 10 years, but our communities have been doing this work since long before that was a term. So just in the many years of the Our Town program, we've experienced some beautiful summers, some really turbulent storms. Sometimes this work is very difficult. So I thought maybe we could take a moment and let's see what's ahead in the forecast from our resource team. our field reporters across the country, if you can see them spread out all across the nation. So I thought, let's start with the Midwest. Let's see if I can do this properly. Wait. Okay. So in the Midwest, we're gonna hear from field reporters Jamie Horder, Julie Garreau, and John Davis. We're gonna hear first from Jamie in Lyons, Nebraska, then Julie in Eagle Butte, South Dakota, and then John Davis in Warroad, Minnesota. Please. So just before we send our crew over there, Midwest team, based on what you're seeing over there, what are you hoping that this work looks like in, say, 5 to 6 years in 2030? Take it away. We'll go Jamie, Julie, and then John.
Okay, well, thanks, Scott. Jamie, she, her. I have light skin, dark brown hair, a floral shirt, red glasses, and a pink background today. I live on traditional Omaha homelands. And let me tell you, there is a huge sparkle flare moving through the region. What I'm seeing on the ground is that artists are holding many celebrated public positions, all the way from village board to county commission, and they are highly sought after because of their holistic experience and their creative problem-solving approaches. Also, people of all ages are feeling civic initiative and a can-do-itness kind of attitude to unleash their own creativity into the community. So just be aware, this sparkle flare looks like it could be here for a while. I'm thinking years, maybe decades, because it's really settled in and it's spreading in all directions. So if you're in the area, keep on the lookout. At this pace, it's going to result in widespread health and well-being and also golf ball-sized positivity. Scott?
That is some wild weather. Now let's hear from Julie in Eagle Butte, South Dakota.
I have to unmute myself. Again, I'm Julie from the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota. I have red glasses. I'm a light-skinned Lakota woman with dark brown hair. I'm kind of wearing a black and blue kind of design, lots of movement kind of shirt. You know, what I imagine is happening on the Cheyenne River Reservation is that, you know, we've been creating these beautiful walls all throughout our reservation. And so I'm hoping to see more of that, more public art. But by then, I'm hoping our Arts and Culture Center will be built and we will have graduated so many young people who are using the art as a tool for healing, but our community also begins to integrate it into all of our systems and processes, all of our organizations, all of our buildings, because art is healing. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you, Julie. Now let's hear from John in Warroad, Minnesota.
John Davis here. I'm sporting silver hair, glasses, and red plaid. I'm zooming in from Red Lake Nation and Warroad, Minnesota, population 1,840. We're way up north on Lake of the Woods, right on the Canadian border. And now, through the magic of the interweb, the date is actually June 18th, 2030, and Warroad is celebrating its shared collaborative vision that allows the value of arts and culture to be self-evident to all. In addition, we've just finished our second North American Rural Creative Placemaking Placekeeping Summit, featuring incredible speakers and presenters from across Canada and the US, focused on innovative rural solutions in the field. Looking forward, the long-term forecast for Warroad calls for an 80% chance of inspiration and a 20% chance of hell yeah. Back to you, Scott.
Well, the Midwest is hot. So now let's take a look at a wider swath of the country in the South, the Midwest, and the Southwest. We've got Dr. Tasha Golden. In Louisville, Kentucky. We've got Sarah Allen in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we've got Michael Pride in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, New Mexico. So let's start off with Dr. Tasha Golden in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh my goodness, what a delight to be with you all. I'm Tasha. I'm a white woman with dark brown short hair and blue eyes behind really big black frames, and some vintage scarf things going on here wearing. But okay, what do I imagine in 2030 that is happening in the field of creative placemaking? Might be, if I can say so, nothing, in the sense that what I would hope is that this field and concept become less needed and useful, because communities have begun asking not like, how do we just prevent and react to negative situations, but how do we build a community in which more and more humans can have more and more of a chance to thrive? And once we ask that question, we start world building. I've been saying that well-being work is world building work. It has always been, it is necessarily world building work. And world building work has always necessarily been creative work. So when we take this approach to community work, we'll necessarily tap into assets like arts, creativity, culture, nature, history, because doing so is the only way that we can create a community, a world, a system, a society where all humans can actually get a chance to thrive.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tasha Golden. Now we have Sarah calling in from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hi, everyone. It's probably as hot there. It's still hot here, as same as it's hot as in what year are we? 2024. I am a light-skinned woman. I have dark blue glasses and a blue, I don't know, shirt. But I am excited to say that last year, our city passed a 3% of our general budget will be set aside for the arts through all departments. And on top of that, we are allowing for a community participatory budget process, and we can pivot quickly because we have a website that's set to respond to particular issues. For instance, I mentioned it was hot, and it is hot. So last week, we just were able to release, based on what the community wanted, a creative idea for these cooling structures for our unhoused. And because we have the money set aside, guess what? And next week, 3 of those will be going up. So things are looking up. We are excited and more to come. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Sarah. Now let's hear from Michael in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm an older, light-skinned Black woman with short, curly gray hair, wearing glasses and a black dress with white circles on it. I join you from Ogepoge, the original Tiwa name for what is now Santa Fe, and translates to White Shell Water Place in English. This is the original home of Pueblo peoples of the Southwest. I direct a community design center at the University of New Mexico. Here and throughout the Southwest, creative placemaking is built into the modus operandi of community development. Artists are present in every department and agency of every agency. Our Design and Planning Assistance Center at UNM brings creative placemaking to every project in every community, drawing from the creative power that already exists in our students, in the faculty, and the communities with whom we are working. Back to you, Scott.
Wow, I'm blown away by all this wind to change. Thank you so much from our South, Midwest, and Southwest team. Now let's send it over to our Pennsylvania team. Oh, wrong side. Okay. So we have Renee Paichaki in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We've got Leah Reisman in Philadelphia, and we have Susanna Laramie Kidd also in Philadelphia. Please take it away, Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee Paichaki. I'm a woman with short blonde hair, blue dangling earrings, a gray shirt, and a bit of a sunburned nose. I'm here with the crop report. Our current climate is perfect for the creative seeds sprouting right now with the proliferation of artists in residence. Artists are working alongside colleagues in transportation, sanitation, education, city planning, libraries, and a breadth of nonprofits. This is having positive impact on the development of meaningful social and physical spaces. What will we be harvesting in the future? Thanks to all those long-term sparkle flares mentioned already coming out of the Midwest, artists will be invited not just at the end of projects for decoration purposes, but at the beginning in the ideation. All kinds of teams, commissions, boards, neighborhood groups will be inviting artists to join them to talk about the environment, housing, food deserts, parade routes, subway car designs, the works. will be sought out for our innate skill to raise the creativity and problem-solving skills of everyone in the room. The future is bright. I believe in artists. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee. Now we have Leah in Philadelphia.
Thanks, Scott. I'm Leah, zooming in from sunny and very hot Philadelphia, land of the Lenni Lenape. I'm a curly-haired white woman with a sleeveless gray dress and a rust-colored button-down. And in 2030, the city is blooming. The city is blooming. On a hot summer day, on my corner, the Flor de Cempasúchil grows thick. It's wafting its musty, grassy aroma over our garden dedicated to our ancestors. We dance down the street, my 1-year-old in hand, flitting over bedazzled steps on the sidewalks, salsa, bachata, square dance. There's a festival down the street. Children are filling the pavement with their chalk creations and their delicious food to share. In this future universe, our community leaders are heralded and funded as leaders in cultivating, protecting, and celebrating diverse and immigrant communities. They and we are proud to speak and share our languages, cultural traditions, and creative practices at the very center of city life. Back to you, Scott.
So much, Leah. Now we have Susanna Laramie Kidd, also in Philadelphia.
Hi, Susanna here, also reporting from Philadelphia, on the southern part of Lenape-Hoking, the land of the Lenni and Lenape. I'm a white, feminine presenting person with an asymmetric haircut, wearing a black V-neck short sleeve shirt. Our forecast today also includes our yearly summit of land stewards. I'm really excited about this gathering of many people, artists, gardeners, policymakers, and other community leaders who are focused on stewarding the land in our community in a way that promotes the well-being of all. 5 years ago at this summit, we worked together to analyze the systems that were causing land to be developed for profit. We built long-term strategies for intervening in these systems and maintaining the land for community uses. Today, we are assessing our progress, celebrating our wins, and making plans for the next year. The artists among us are helping us to nurture our imaginative and creative capacity for the work and feeding our joy at being together. Back to you, Scott.
It's very hot in this basement. Okay, and now, last but not least, our East Coast team. We've got Karen Atlas. Karen Atlas representing NOCD New York from Brooklyn, New York. And we have Thomas Young representing Flannel and Blade from Somerset, New Jersey. Take it away, Karen.
Hey there, I'm Karen Atlas with Naturally Occurring Cultural Districts New York, she, her. I'm zooming in from Brooklyn, where we are sizzling today on Lenape land. I have short brown curly hair, white skin, glasses, and I'm wearing a blouse with birds and flowers to go with my blue sky background. Creative placemaking won't be a field, but rather an integral approach, a set of values, and a way of doing things rooted in place with equity, imagination, and liberation. It will be a deep recognition of the powerful and dynamic role of the many cultures in our communities, and it'll be accompanied by sustained care and support. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Karen. And last but not least, Thomas from Somerset, New Jersey.
Hello, I'm Tom Tamayo Young. I use he, they pronouns. I'm calling from the central New Jersey, also known as the unceded land of the Lenni Lenape. I'm a masculine presenting person with curly hair, some glasses, a floral summery shirt, and a pink glittery background behind me. I forecast a future where the techniques and tactics of this work are easily accessible to everybody who is dedicated to it. By breaking down communication barriers and embracing code switching, local efforts can progress more smoothly and inclusively. If you need a clue as to how to do that, I would take some cues today from Marty, Mark, and Scott's presentation. Building on the work of LISC, the NEA, and others, wealth and resources are equitably distributed and are equipping organizations, artists, and stakeholders with not only the necessary vocabulary and tools, but also confidence and joy to champion and execute this work effectively. I see a world where creative placemaking addresses every form of social change that we need, from housing and food insecurity to land sovereignty, gender justice, the climate crisis, and refugee crises and labor justice, all through the lens of art and culture. The need for local systems and mutual aid is astronomical today, but over the next few years, I can forecast how creative placemaking is seen as an intersectional framework that's needed to drive this change. Back to you, Connie.
Wow. I could not even try to summarize all of the weather going on across the nation. But I would love to take a moment to thank you, our weather field reporters, for braving the weather, for supporting all of our grantees. This is just a sampling of all of the support, the technical assistance that we have all been able, the amazing expertise and kindness and joy that we have been able to be a part of as your resource team. So thank you so much for reporting out from the field. Would love to pull us all up Brady Bunch style for the whole resource team. We'll give the tech just a moment to get that set up. And then I'm gonna send this right on back to Ben. Thank you so much. This is Connie Chung for Channel 5 LISC News and Channel 8 NEA News.
Woohoo! Nice job, Scott.
So hot.
Scott, oh my God, it's amazing.
So hot.
And everyone.
Having
such
COVID
great
was just the
visions.
icing on the top.
Hi, everyone. This is
And
Ben.
all this with COVID, I just can't believe it.
I hope you feel better, Scott. I'm just realizing we should have all put more time in the agenda to regain my composure as I try to jump back into the serious stuff. But thank you all. I was off camera for a lot of that because I was cracking up and wanted to keep that to myself. But thank you, Mark, Marty, and Scott for that amazing session today. And thank you to all the resource team members for sharing those visions. I'm so glad we recorded this so I and others can go back and watch it again in the future. Thanks to all of you for your contributions to the Technical Assistance Program as well. I know we're getting close to the top of the hour. I really hope that folks will be able to stick around for a few more minutes. We might go a couple of minutes over, but we have a few more housekeeping things that I really want to share with all of you. And then one quick surprise at the end, a little bit of foreshadowing. So if any of you would like to tap into the many resources created by the Our Town Creative Placemaking Technical Assistance Program, you can check out, drumroll please, our new website at creativeplacemaking.us. The link, I believe, is in the chat. And hopefully you'll see it on the screen. There we go. That's the homepage for our new site where you can learn more about the CPTA program, read creative placemaking stories, explore tools, and so much more. Thank you so much to our CPTA team, everyone who worked on this website, and to the Lizanne Hart consulting team for producing what we think is a pretty amazing new resource live as of today. Check it out on your own time. So as we wrap today, I just want to take a few minutes to acknowledge and celebrate and bring up on the virtual stage our core resource team from LISC. That is Melissa Kim, Margie Waller, Mina Kim, and Rachel Vasity. I think you're all stepping up right now. So this team has been working tirelessly behind the scenes and sometimes in front of the scenes, as the case right now, to run this complex and very important program. And after 8 years of leading the program, LISC has decided to shift its focus towards more directly supporting their local offices and partners. Everyone at the NEA is so grateful for your service over these last 8 years. And I just want to say, while I have worked with all of you, some of you for longer, but really all of you as a team for just the last 11 months since I joined the NEA, I did want to bring back some folks who were involved with all of you in the early days, the halcyon days of 2016, back when the program started. We didn't tell the LISC folks we were going to do this, so this is a bit of a surprise, and hopefully this will all work just fine. So if Lynn, Jen, Rebecca, Catherine, and Courtney are all here, if you could virtually step onto the stage. I see you coming up right now. And I want to invite some of the people who were involved in the very early days to just quickly give a 1-minute shout out and words of thanks and encouragement to all of you. And I'll start with you, Lynn.
Oh, geez, Ben, I did not know you were going to start with me. I'm just so thrilled to be here today. I am so happy. Just being here for the last hour was just incredible. Thank you to the amazing resource team. Some of you have been with the program from the very beginning. Some of you joined in the last couple of years. As I sit here and see all of you up on the screen, it's just been such an amazing journey. And I'm so grateful for all of your energy, creativity, and really love that you brought to this program. My partners, Rebecca Chan, Catherine Bray-Simons, Jen Hughes, Courtney Spearman, those folks that started the whole program together with us. Margie Waller was there at the time too. Just what an amazing thing. And to see it all come together like this and under particularly Melissa's leadership over the last 2 years too. I just want to be grateful for handing the baton over to Melissa and her continuing this work. So for those of you who are new to this program out there across the country, please just look at that website. It really is amazing. And it's the culmination of many, many years of work, even before LISC was involved. So I'll stop there and toss it back to Ben.
Thank you. I'm not sure Jen is still here. Maybe she'll join us in just a second, but we'll hand it over to
I'm here.
Rebecca.
I'm
Jen, you're here. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't see you on the screen.
here.
Please go ahead, Jen.
Well, hey everyone, just ditto to everything Lynn said, and thanks for just filling our cup with joy. This was such a joyous gathering, and I think really encapsulates what this program is all about, and just how much you've all given to kind of institutionally shift the work we do at the NEA, how we think about interacting with our grantees and building a field practice. And so I'm so excited that the space continues to thrive and live on, but also you should know the lasting impacts I think that it's had on all of us at the National Endowment for the Arts. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So great to be here.
Thanks, Jen. Hand it over to Rebecca next.
Hey everyone, again, I just want to echo what's already been said. Thank you so much for all you've done, how much you've built this program up. And I'll just say, as someone who's now a practitioner on the ground, I think these spaces are so special and so important for field building. So just thank you for continuing the work. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks.
Thanks, Rebecca. Catherine, you're next.
Hi, folks. It's so nice to see so many of these faces. Oh my goodness. Hi. Yeah, gosh, echoing everything and just the tremendous appreciation. This group is like the pantheon. I think back to like literally like slides shown in sessions from like 4 or 5 years ago. Still, and I look to the resource site all the time. Even briefly, I worked at another organization, not at the NEA, and I was on the CPTA website looking stuff up. So I'm so glad that's out there in the world. It's such an important resource. And I've just, yeah, to me, this experience of working on this program and helping build it out and all the different iterations we tried was such a tremendous learning for me. And really, it's just, now I know that like how important it is to build community around the work, you know, and I feel like that's what the celebration is all about. And I really learned that from this program, and I will look back on that for certainly the rest of my career and life. So love you all so much. It's so nice to see everyone. Congrats. Yay, great work. So much fun work ahead.
Thank you, Catherine. And finally, Courtney.
Thank you. Just want to echo the gratitude and also acknowledge how the work that you all have been doing for the last 8 years, but certainly several, and the resources you built out are feeding other things. We've borrowed some ideas and some people and some presentations and some content for the Citizens Institute on Rural Design. And I know others are also looking to this work, as Catherine alluded to with her work. So I think just congratulations and gratitude for how this work anchors so many other things that are happening in arts, culture, and design. So, and we'll miss you all.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, everyone. So glad you're all able to join us for that nice surprise. So that just leads me to say, again, thank you to everybody, the core team, the resource team members, Looking Glass Creative for doing the work behind the scenes, Maya Herring and my team for also doing so much work behind the scenes. And I also just want to close by saying this program is not ending. Just want to be really clear about that. We're transitioning to a new, what we call a cooperator. We'll have more information to share about that in the near future later this summer. So please stay tuned. In the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me, to Maya. You can reach us at ot@arts.gov. And again, thank you so much. And I hope you all have an inspired day. Take care.